on, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day in the Lord. I'm going to do some vlogs this weekend because I have been planning on doing some vlogs this weekend and talking to y'all a little bit about some things that's going on. And there is so much, y'all, I got to talk to y'all about that I have not been able to do. And I really want to make sure I get that done. That's very important. I've been meaning to talk to y'all about a couple things that's going on in the business world because there is so much happening, y'all, and I want y'all to be aware of what's going on. I want y'all to pay close attention. However, y'all know I got to come give y'all a little bit of talk. Okay, let me tell y'all what's going on. So apparently, I was speaking to someone recently. I can't say who, but I was speaking to someone recently. And the conversation always comes up about how we are always worrying about what somebody thinks about you. And I am really kind of just frustrated talking about this because one of the things that I've realized is that when you get to a certain age, I am fully grown. You understand? I am a grown woman. I don't play with children. I don't go to the playpen. I don't go to the playground unless I have children to take. You understand? The point of the matter is I'm not going to be on a Ferris wheel with a bunch of children. I'm not. And I'm speaking, just saying maturity wise. I think we really don't understand what it means to grow up. Like I literally look around and I'm looking on social media. I'm looking at all the things happening in the world. And the only thing I can say to myself is that, Lord, we really are not mature. We're really not mature people. And that's being nice. And I'm just saying, because when you determine that you want to make a change and you want to be better for the Lord, and even not even that, it's just when you grow up, people, when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, we should not be seeing our 30 and 40 and 50s and our elders fighting each other on social media. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I think to myself, what are we really doing? We are really immature people. And I find that it's because when you don't really know God, you find yourself doing the things that aren't of God. And then you start to realize, even still, we see these things happening. You still got to, because in my heart, I still had to say, okay, if this is a problem for you, I'm not going to make it light, because it could be a problem for you, because everybody's season is different. You understand? Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's not going to feel the same as you would feel about the situation. I get it, because I'm at a place now in my life that stuff don't concern me anymore, because I really thank the Lord for the people that he removed out of my life. Whether they did me wrong or not, I can look at them and just like anybody else. If you need a plate of food, like, yeah, baby, I'll give you a plate of food. You need some money too for gas, I'll give you some gas. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm at the point now that my feelings aren't going to determine how I'm going to act out the day, or if I'm going to love God enough to obey his word. I know I'm going to love God in my heart and in my soul and in my mind to keep focused on the things that God has told me. And I'm not going to let my feelings kind of maneuver whether I'm going to be right with God today or wrong with God tomorrow. I'm not doing it. You understand? When you truly grow in the spirit, when you truly mature as a person, you look at people as simply they're lost. Like, you take all the time in your day to worry about somebody who doesn't like you. But why? Why do you care if somebody doesn't like you? Because honestly, you should be thanking God, because he's showing you the people you need to be worried about. And I've always told people this. Like, I know a lot of you probably clicked on this video because of the title. And I'm a type of person, I just love having conversations. So that's why I created another channel. It's a brand new YouTube channel. I just created it just to have conversations just like this. Okay. And I will post it up on my other socials, because I do want people to still have regular conversations, because at the end of the day, this is a community. Okay. We're Christian people who are regular people who go through things, who've had experiences. And I feel like we need to open the door to have these conversations. But my thing is, to a person who you're right now, you're like 30, 40, 50 years old. You worried about why somebody don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, have we not grown, people? Have we not grown? We're mature, right? So why do we care? Because we're in a different season now. You're not in the same place. And when you find the Lord, that's even more reason to say, Lord, I know I'm not like that anymore. I'm not in that same space. But if people want to remain there, that's completely up to them. I'm not judging them. I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to say, Lord, maybe they don't get it yet, but maybe help them see, Lord, help work on their hearts so they can see what's wrong with them. Because I've always been taught, and this is something that God has actually put in my spirit. And one of the things that God told me like a while back was, girl, if they have a problem with you and they can't even tell you why they don't, are they going to try to create something to not like you? Or they just want everybody else to hate you? It's because you are a threat to them. And you got to be a hot topic if they got to talk about you when you're not even in the building. You understand? Like, listen, God is saying they want to create problems. They already had it out for you anyway. If they got to find some way to take you down just because to make them feel good about themselves or to make them feel like they're somebody, they've already had it out against you in the beginning. They did not want to see you win. They were threatened by you. So a lot of people, y'all worrying about why people don't like you, it's because they threatened by you. They threatened by you, your success, where you're going, what God has planned for you. And sometimes God is saying simply, I made the controversy happen because I'm showing you I don't want you around these people. I don't want your come up to be with these people on board. This is what he's saying. But y'all are still crying over spoiled milk. You're crying over friends who really never showed you they were friends. I've had people who said they were my friend literally go behind my back when I was younger and in the present until now. And they did the most two-faced thing behind my back, and they still talk to me today and act like they did nothing. And if they want to believe they did nothing, I'm not judging anymore because I'm not in that place anymore. I can still be kind, gentle, and I can still know for myself what I've seen and what I've heard, and still be nice because God says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. I've learned to do that very well. And my life is peaceful. I learned how to leave it to God. I've learned how to let God fight my battles because truly when you got clean hands and you've done no harm to nobody and you stay in your corner and you do what the Lord say and you're not really messing with nobody, God says, I will handle the rest. I have been on an elevation since leaving the lifestyle of entertainment, gossip blogging, cursing and doing all these things that was on social media for, I think I told you guys about my life experience and how God removed me from there. And God said, I want you to do something different. But God created chaos in the midst of changing me over so that I could actually pay attention to what he had to say. And even though it might have been a crazy situation, God is saying, I did it because I wanted you to know this is what you really working with. This is the people around you. These are the types of people that I'm telling you got to be careful about. And I don't want them going on in your journey. You understand? Like sometimes it's a wake up call to just listen. They're not really for you. They've never been for you. They just wanted you for the come up. But then when they get to a certain point or they see you surpassing them, then they're going to have a problem with you. This is how it works. Friends are only friends until you become their biggest competition. And I know this because I've seen it through life all the time. I've seen sisters go to war with each other because maybe she's got the best man or her husband looks better or because her bank account's a little bit more fuller. It's crazy how we allow these trivial things in life to cause us to get in our own way, that we start really becoming like a Jezebel spirit because we're upset about where somebody else is going, which you were never a part of that journey anyway. What God has for a person is what God has for a person. I've accepted that. I don't hate nobody for coming up. I don't hate nobody for moving to the next level. I understand that my journey is mine and I understand that somebody else's is theirs. That's why I'm not going to hate on nobody. I have no reason to talk about anybody in their life because I've also had one and it was not squeaky clean. And at the end of the day, I am not here to judge. All I'm here to do is encourage people. Hey, read the book. I'm not perfect. I live a life every single day the best way I know how, but I read my word. I trust God, and my love for God is more than anything in this world. And that's why nothing that anybody can do, say, or how they feel about me, whether they like me or not, can make me change on who I am because I got to do it for the Lord. I'm doing everything for him, even if it hurts me to do. But we just got to be mature. Y'all are worrying about the wrong things. If your family member don't like you, so what? But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people in the world that don't like certain people. But that does not change or put a stamp of approval on who you are. God says you are his. You have to know you are his. And sometimes that comes with the price of having a lot of enemies because God is saying this walk is a lonely walk. You're going to have to take this journey alone. People are going to hate on you just because they see you got a light. People are going to conspire against you because they hate that they see that you have potential, that you're going somewhere. People are normally going to be mean to you because they have nothing else going on in their life but to be miserable. You feel me? Like this is real talk. When you know the Lord, you live by the word of God. And that's why I'm saying y'all surrounding yourself by people who say, oh, I love the Lord. Jesus, Jesus this, Jesus that. But do you know him? Do you know him? You say that you love him, but do you know him? Because when you know him, you really know that you love him. Because I love God enough to even in the spite of the trouble and everything that's going on to say, you know what? They can have it. It ain't even worth it. It's small potatoes. God got this. And I'm not going to be outside of my character for anybody. God got it. Because that day going to come. That day going to come. Like I said, keep your hands clean. I keep my hands clean. And I've always been a truth teller, whether people like it or not. And that's why a lot of people never really liked me, because even when I was in the real world, a lot of people had a problem because I was too direct. I said what I said. I meant what I said. I did not care what people thought, because I knew that in order to really be a truth teller, you got to stand up for what's right, whether people like it or not. So a lot of people hate that. And sometimes people feel challenged by that and they don't know how to deal with it. And then a lot of times they hate to see that more people are gravitating to something that you do better than them. But I've learned that I'm not going to ever hate on a person because they're good at something. I just realize that maybe that might not be my lane. And if a person is good at it, I'm going to give them the credit for it. I'm going to say, you know what, they did a good job. I'm not going to hate on them and try to conspire against them, try to pull the rug from under their foot. I'm not going to sabotage anybody, because I know that if that is what they have, it's for them to have at that moment. It is not for me. So that's what I've learned. I'm content, whether hungry or fed, plenty on want. A lot of people don't get this thing, but when you truly know the Lord, you start to realize there's a bigger picture to everything. You can say you love God all day long, but do you act like it? Do you live by it? Do you trust God even when somebody like right now is not on your side, or they could have did something behind your back? Who cares? Life goes on. Because if you're gonna let that stop your heart from growing and getting to know Christ and living and forgiving people and moving past and loving your enemies and praying for those who persecute you, then you're gonna always be in the same situation and you will never see the growth that God has for you. You're blocking your own blessings. You are literally suffering right now because you choose to hate somebody for God knows what reason. And sometimes they don't even know you hate them. You're the only one holding a grudge. I've never seen in my life how somebody could say, oh, I don't like this person, but you call this person, you check up on this person, you always got this person in your mouth, but you don't like this person, then why do you call? Why do you be bothered? If I get burned by somebody, I'm not going to get burned over and over again when I see clearly you're trying to burn me. I'm going to love you, I'm going to keep my distance, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to pray for them. But at the end of the day, I could care less about what somebody thinks. Because if you got to talk about me and I'm not in the room, that means I am a hot topic. That means I am a threat. That means I am doing something right. And that means that God did say I had a light. And so obviously they must see it. So don't get mad because you got haters. When you know you got haters, it's because God has said, I'm about to elevate you in this moment. A lot of the greats, Joseph, listen, what we know about Joseph in the Bible, how God talked about how Joseph's brothers, they sabotaged him, threw him in a hole, leave him there to die. And then because Joseph gave him the dream that he had, he told his father and his brothers that they would be bowing down to him, that they would bow down to him one day. And they didn't like that. They didn't want to see that. They knew that Joseph had something. They didn't want to believe that. How could you be? How could this be? Oh, it's God told me. But see, they didn't want to believe that. And then God proved later on, like Joseph, they were bowing down in front of Joseph. So what I'm telling y'all is that sometimes it's okay to take the loss all the time if God is telling you to take the loss, because this is what it's about. You're going to lose more than you win. And it's okay with losing because the hurt brings you closer to God. And I'm not saying that the whole walk with God is going to be miserable, but no, God is trying to build you up and make you stronger. He's trying to show you that you got a lot you need to work on. Your feelings, number one, you're too sensitive. You got to get stronger because this journey is lonely. When God says you got to follow me, you got to follow him. You got to leave all this nonsense behind. Your pride, your grudges, your low self-esteem. You got to believe what God tells you. If you believe in God, you believe what he say. If you believe that God says that you're worth more than gold, that means you eat right, you act right, you exercise, you try to make sure you keep a healthy body because the temple belongs to him, not you. You do everything you possibly can to show God that I care about what you've given me and I'm going to take care of it. Because when you start not taking care of it, then he's looking at you funny. You can't love me when I constantly told you time and time again to do this, and this, and this, and you keep doing it. You understand? You haven't done it. You understand? That's what he said. If you love me, you will do what I say. And it's all about following the word of God. We're not perfect. God knows we're not perfect. That's why he has grace. That's why he's compassionate. That's why he loves us. And that's why he's willing to work with us. But that does not give us an excuse to continue to live in the same state of mind that we've always been in since we were a child. Because God says eventually you grow up. When you know the word and you live by the word, you have to grow up. Because everything in this Bible is to help you be a stronger person and a better you. But if you can't read the word, follow the word, and live by the word, you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. God will never leave us or forsake us. So what makes you think that he will put a book here that has all the instructions, all the stories that inspire him to let you know how to get through life, and then just say, okay, well, forget all that because such don't like you. Go ahead and fight them. That's not what God is all about. God is saying the battle is not yours, it's mine. When you decide to turn your life over and you literally say, Lord, I surrender, that means everything in your life that you tried to fight on your own, every person you started arguing with that didn't work out, everything that you're trying to control that you cannot control anymore, that is what that means. You surrender fully. So whether they like you or not, let it go. You still got to love that person, because honestly, if you want to get to heaven, this is what it's all about. Forgiving those that sometimes it's hard to give. That's why God says love is the greatest of all things, because it seems like to me, it's the hardest thing for people to do. It's so hard for somebody to love somebody, especially their enemies. Because all I've seen on social media, in life, anywhere even with the family that I grew up in, we're going to talk about that on another podcast. I know, like, when you have a group of women, in particularly, when you have a lot of women and they can honestly see you growing up and you got to come up and you got things working out for you, they're always going to try to find something ain't right about you. They're going to always try to talk down on you because they want to be you. You got your own relatives right now jealous of you because they're trying to be you. They don't want you having more than them because it's got to be them. And that is why they have not seen nothing more but what God has given them. God has so much stuff that he wants to give people, but because you are the way you are, that is why you are lacking. Because you just will refuse to just not try to go out here and fight yourself. All he wants you to do is just surrender. Everything, not some things, but everything. Everything you're worried about, all the lifestyle that you're living that's not right with the Lord, fighting with people unnecessarily, hating on people because you feel like you need to, gossiping, lying, all this stuff. God is saying surrender. And when you do, I'm telling you, it's going to be so much easier. You ain't got to explain. You ain't got to do. You wake up every day, you do what I tell you to do, and it's easy. But you guys got to choose whether or not you want to do that. A lot of y'all are choosing to fight with people versus just grow up. You got to grow up sometimes. You got to grow up. At some point in time in your life, you're going to have to grow up. And I don't even understand why people don't get it. You're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to be an adult. You're going to have to do things differently. And at some point in your life, some of y'all got kids and act like a 12-year-old. But yet you're raising a kid and you're showing them, oh, because they get at me, I'm a fight. I'm going on the street and fight her. Why? Why? You're a Christian, right? You believe in God, right? Even if you don't consider yourself being a Christian, but if you believe in God, you call yourself an adult. You call yourself what they call the women, or even a man who's successful. You guys like to call y'all these names, which I don't like to use. But you have a lot of slogans you call yourself. You call yourself the boss or diva, all these things that technically I just find it's just a way for you to try to give yourself a title because you don't really know who you are. Period. But I'm not going to go out here and wage war on anybody or talk about anybody or feel like I'm better than, or, because at the end of the day, I don't need to. I know I'm loved. And when you know you're loved by God, you just know. And there's no reason for you to have to do anything to anybody to make them feel less than, or to prove a point to people, or to go out here and fight, or to wage war, or whatever you want to do. It's ridiculous. And you'll learn too. You'll look a lot better too. And some of y'all look like y'all about 80 and 90 years old, and you only 40. But it's because you're fighting with everybody you see. You look like you're really going, you look like your grandma at 40 years old because you're fighting with people. You got a nasty attitude. You hate. And God is saying, I'm trying to lighten you up. I'm trying to brighten your skin. I'm trying to take away that nasty filth in your body so you can be well, so you won't be sick anymore. You're only causing yourself to be sick because of the way that you are. You're only lacking because you have not stopped the things you're doing. It's getting out of control. I love y'all. Y'all know y'all my people, but I always have to be honest. And at the end of the day, if you choose to just stay in this state of mind, and do so. But I love y'all, and I want y'all to understand it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Grow up. All right? Be blessed.